Want to welcome everyone to SU Football Weekly, presented by the Sheraton Austin Georgetown Hotel and Conference Center. I'm joined by Coach Austin. How are you tonight, Coach?
Doing real good, Chuck. Thank you.
That's good to hear. We got a good, exciting week of football. Texas Baptist University pays a visit to Georgetown to take on the Pirates. Before we get to East Texas Baptist University, Coach, let's look at the highlights from last week's game with McMurray, and then we'll talk about that game a little bit, get into some interviews of players, and then we'll close with East Texas Baptist.
Sounds good.
Steps up a little bit, readjusts, looking downfield, flips it to Ethan Powell near the line to gain for a first down. Sets up, throws deep left. Pass caught for a touch. Welcome back. That was much of the highlights from Saturday's game, and there were a lot of them, Coach. But no way around it. It was a tough game, the outcome of the game. So give us your thoughts on the game in general coming into this week.
Against McMurray, we gave them 6 extra possessions, and some of them were obvious, and some of them were a little more hidden as far as things that we didn't do well from a coaching and playing perspective. But we created too many opportunities for them, and we're developing as a football team, and we're not good enough to give a team 6 extra chances. And that was the story. You know, they scored directly off turnovers. They scored off of things that we created that put ourselves kind of behind the 8 ball, and that was the big thing. It was a game that we certainly had a chance to win, and we're going to have a chance to win a lot of games.
Right.
But for us, we have to play clean. We have to play really well every week. And as you contrasted against Belhaven, it was 14-14 at halftime, and we won the second half. And we killed last 6 minutes of the clock. We just did things really well.
Right.
We created a special team score, where in this game we didn't create as many opportunities for ourselves, and we gave them some extra opportunities. To kind of put in context, the week before we played McMurray, they played East Texas Baptist, who's our opponent this week. So we'll get to them in the fourth segment, I know, but this kind of sums it up or gives a little bit of insight. So ETBU beat McMurray 25-14. McMurray outgained them, but McMurray had 6 turnovers, and that really gave ETBU a chance to win that game. Well, we were the one who didn't have 6 direct turnovers. We gave them 6 extra possessions other ways, and that led them to beat us by 10. There's a lot of parity in our conference right now, and so the team that plays better from week to week is going to have the best chance, and hopefully that will be us going forward. But we didn't do enough consistently on the weekend for us to finish it out. We got off to a really fast start, and for much of the game we were the better team, but there were a few spurts where we weren't, and that caught us.
Well, and on the positive side, as demonstrated by the highlight reel, there were a lot of big plays for the offense and the defense. But offensively, over 400 yards of production on offense. You had more than 350 in the air. Can you continue to perform at that level? You talk about parity, and you kind of really already answered this question, but, elaborate a little more. How do we keep that offense churning like it's moving?
We can. We're just starting to learn our offensive system. As we talked about early in the year, for folks that have watched us a lot, we transitioned offensive systems to find the system that really fits our players. And so here's our youth on offense. I prepared some notes because we really hadn't talked about this. But and we can talk about defense if you want. But on offense, on Saturday, we played 1 freshman, 2 sophomores, and 1 senior. So 3 out of the 4 are very young players. We played 2 freshman quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Yes, Landry Gilpin's still a freshman. His first year, he blew out his knee and didn't get any eligible for medical redshirt. And last year, no one used a year of eligibility.
Right.
So imagine how good he's going to be, 3 years down the road. On offensive line, we've got 4 offensive line starters out. Our entire left side, plus some guys we were counting on, are out. So we played 3 freshmen, started 3 freshmen, played 2 other sophomores and 2 seniors. So 5 of those guys, 5 of those 7 are freshmen and sophomores. Our receivers are old, and so they played well. And we're going to have Austin on here tonight. We had Eric Ovalle on before. 3 freshmen, 1 junior, 4 seniors. Our tight ends are both juniors. So overall, we had 13 of our 22 players. 13 of them were freshmen and sophomores, and 9 of them were juniors and seniors. 16 of our 23 are going to be back next year.
Well, and talk a little bit about that invaluable experience that they are gaining, whether, they've earned the position or, because of injury they had to be the next man up, how that's going to pay off in the next couple of years.
Well, yeah, of course it will be. I mean, I think that's intuitive to folks that follow sports is all experience is good experience.
Yes.
With our offensive linemen, they're very good players. So we're able to, we had 456 yards of offense starting 3 freshmen because they're really good. We didn't want to necessarily use them as much as we are, but we're forced to do that. So we're trying to take advantage of the fact that we're really experienced in our receiver core, and we're relying heavy on that. We have guys like Charles De La Rosa, who's a senior all-conference candidate at offensive tackle. So we have some good experienced guys. But overall, we're pretty young, and we're still learning our new offense. And you can ask Austin, but things just continue to come together every week. So we played really well against Belhaven. We played really well at times against McMurray. So I'm confident that we're going to be able to continue to move the ball and score points.
When you mentioned figuring out the offense, but you can tell that the offensive playbook is expanding each and every week. Can we expect new things? You don't have to give us details. Can we expect new things for the East Texas Baptist game that we haven't seen yet?
There's always a few little game plan things, but for us, we have an offensive system. It is the run and shoot offensive system, and so we're running the run and shoot playbook with things that are adapted to our players, just some subtle tweaks. And we've kept some things from our offense we had last spring. You saw Ethan Powell score a touchdown on a play that's from our playbook last spring that we know, so we can incorporate those things. So you're not going to see us